All right. So Samantha Trinh, formerly known as Samantha Dang, the person who had the coolest last name in high school. Um, Welcome to the Madhouse Reunion podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks. I'm glad to be here.
So the first thing that we'd like to do, Sam, is we'd like to put you on the hot spot and make you tell us the last 20 years of your life. Like what were the highs and lows? What were the noteworthy things that you should talk about the last 20 years?
Oh, geez. Well, so after Madison, I did 4 years at USD. So got my bachelor's and then also did the master's program there too. So got my bachelor's and master's there in accounting, started working for Deloitte, which is an accounting firm, and have been there ever since. So I have been at the same company since college, since graduating college. So going on like celebrating, I think 16 years with them now. So yeah, I mean, but that's typical Sam for you, right? Like risk adverse and just kind of doing the same. But I mean, no, it's a great firm. So it's obviously why I stayed there so long. And then
sorry, Sam, hold on a second. Jacqueline, does she have you beat? Because aren't you at your company for like 14 years?
I've been there for 14.
Nice.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Sorry to
interrupt. It's sometimes, I mean, no, it's good. It's fine. And then in between that, there was getting married and having 2 kids, buying a house, a few cars mixed in there too, a dog. And yeah, that's kind of where I am now.
How old are the kids now?
My daughter's 8, going on 9 this summer, and then my son is 7.
Nice. All right. Are you guys done?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Good for you.
Yeah.
What about the dogs? What kind of dogs do you have?
Oh, just the one. She's a Boston Terrier French Bulldog mix.
Okay.
And we've actually had her for about 16 years now too. So I remember how old she is just because of how long I've been with my the company that I worked for. So because we got her around the same time. Yeah, so she's still hanging in there. I mean, you can definitely tell she's getting up there in age. But no, she's still holding strong.
Nice. Good for you.
Yeah.
So I always fanboy over the fact that you work at Deloitte because a bunch of the people that I work with came from Deloitte. What do you do there exactly?
I'm in their audit practice. So they have, consulting, tax, obviously, and then audit and assurance, and then some other functions as well. So audit is primarily focused just more on like accounting and financial reporting versus like taxes. I definitely work with a bunch of people in the tax side of things, but most of my clients or the things I work on for my clients are for like financial statements, like reporting to the SEC or reporting to your lenders, things like that. Fun accounting stuff.
Yeah. I don't remember that being what you wanted to do. I felt like you wanted to be like an attorney or something like that.
No.
No?
I knew I never wanted to be an attorney.
Okay. Wow. For some reason, I thought that you wanted to go the legal route. So I know USD has a pretty solid law program as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they do. But no, never interested me.
So did you enroll at USD and just know that's the direction you wanted to go, or did you fall into that?
Kind of fell into that. So, typically when you start college, it's usually just your basic like undergrad classes and you don't really know what you'll major in yet. Yeah. So that's what I kind of did the first 2 years. And I don't think I decided on accounting until like the end of my sophomore year. And then you start figuring out what like upper division classes to take and what your truly your major was going to be. So just kind of took those lower division classes of accounting initially and did well in it. Felt like it was something that I was good at. And then just talking to like other graduates, there's a lot of firms that recruit students. So my biggest thing was, am I going to get a job after I spend all this money on college? And there's just a lot of firms that recruit, from either a junior or senior. So there's just so many firms that kind of look for talent right as you're about to graduate. So it was nice to know, after graduation, I'd already had kind of an offer to start somewhere. And so that just kind of gave more security from my perspective. That risk averse brain of trying to make sure I don't end up in college after college, all this amount of debt and no job.
Yeah. That sounds like Sam. There's a lot that I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about your garage gym. I know Matt does too. As you can see, he's got the t-shirt that says lift heavy. So we're all in the deadlift squat or deadlift crew as well. Pet cute puppies. Nice.
Hey, Matt.
It's Samantha.
So this is the three of us, Matt, Sam, and I were like the ASB like the ASB rebels. Sam kind of on the peripheral. Like if Matt and I pulled you into stuff that was like kind of on the fringe of like what's okay and what's not okay, but a cool accomplice to have.
I told the line.
Yeah.
I think I was like the ASB spirit commissioner, and I was like the worst person for that job because I didn't know anything about any of the sports and like who is on the teams. But like I was in charge of like making the signs for like sporting events and stuff. But yeah, it was a wild experience.
Was that your actual role?
Yeah, that was I think it was one of the ones that like didn't have anybody else like going out for it. So I was kind of like a shoe-in. So I was like, well, if I want to, because I just wanted to get into ASB for the chicks. So I just needed an easy position that I didn't have to.
Did you say for the check or the chick?
The chicks, like girls.
Oh. Female. Okay.
Yeah, female. It sounds gross when you say females, but yeah, for girls. But but yeah,
did that work out for you?
not at all. But it was all right. I had fun, and like Mario was saying, I got to hang out with you guys and develop relationships. So that ended up being a better experience than I had planned for. So
well, you guys both had high school sweethearts anyway, Matt. So, or did you?
I did. Started April of my senior year.
Okay. And then Sam, you've been with Mike since what, sophomore year of high school?
Freshman.
What? Wow. So that's true high school sweetheart.
I didn't know you guys were together since freshman year. I don't remember you.
I didn't either. I thought it was like junior or senior year.
Yeah. Well, he was 2 years ahead of us. So yeah, I was a freshman. He was a junior.
So he wasn't like at school for us to actually see like the interactions most of the time.
Yeah, not much. Especially, and obviously senior year where we had more interaction. You wouldn't have seen him too much. Yeah.
Sam was the cool chick dating a college guy.
Well, congratulations on it working out and lasting. And
oh, thank you. I know everyone. Yeah, it's definitely a long time, especially when you tell people how long you've been together.
Yeah, well, Ellen and I have been together. We're gonna hit 15 years, and I tell people 15 years. I'm like, Jesus, I've been together with her for 15 years. That's amazing. And that means you've been with Mike probably about 10 years longer than that, right? So are you guys approaching 25 years?
Like together? No, almost. Actually, yeah, almost. Because I was 14, so I'm 38. Yeah.
Nice. Good for you guys. And 2 kids and a house and great careers to show for it. So there's like all these other uncomfortable questions that we want to ask, like who were your high school crushes, but we can't ask you that because you guys were locked down at the time. What else is there, Matt? What do we like to go into?
So if you guys hadn't been together in high school, who in high school would you have wanted to be with? No, just joking.
Sneaky.
So I was thinking of questions and I was gonna send it out to you guys, and I missed like the first 10 minutes of the conversation. But one of the questions I was thinking would be fun to ask would be like, since a lot of us haven't like spoken that much since we graduated, what was for you, like what was one of the most like surprising things from transitioning, like not only out of high school but like to college, and then kind of like out of college into real life? Like what kind of shocked you about the like being in the real world versus like the school bubble?
Well, I guess, and I just would have to speak kind of retrospectively because I don't think I realized it at the time either, but you just don't keep those relationships from high school, anymore. And, good or bad or intentional or not, it's hard to do that. And sometimes when you think back on things that you were upset about as a teenager and how it just felt like earth shattering or, messed with your head, at the end of the day, like when you look at it 10 years later, it's not going to matter anymore. You're probably not even going to remember like what caused you so much, grief and heartache or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But obviously we can only have that perspective, further out, but that's kind of what I've thought through. And then when I was thinking about what I'd catch up with you guys on, it's just, you think about, oh man, haven't really seen anyone or talked to many people since high school, and probably just certain people or groups that you do, and because it's hard, you're not just seeing everyone every day, you can't have those relationships that strong anymore. But
I agree with that 100%. And I also think that I've come to the realization that some people are in your life for a season. They're only meant to be there for a certain time period. They're not meant to be there throughout your whole journey. And you learn from those relationships or friendships, and you keep it pushing. And yeah, you can think about them and reminisce about them in the good times, but doesn't mean that you have to maintain a constant relationship with those people all the time.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people too where you kind of have that DNA looking relationship where it comes back and you reconnect, and then for whatever reason you separate again, and then like potentially years later you come back and you're in each other's lives for a couple of years. People where it's like your relationship can be really intensely close for a short amount of time, but then you just gotta get away from them. I don't know if you guys have anything like that going on in your lives, but I have a few of those.
I don't think necessarily that exact situation, but I do think there are friendships that are close and then you go away, but then when you come back together, you pick up right where you left off. So it's not necessarily like you needed a break from that person, just for whatever reason you grew apart, but then you pick right back up. And I feel like that's been our reoccurring, like I've known you since what, third grade?
Yeah.
And then you left in sixth grade, and I didn't see you again until ninth grade. And so you picked right back up, and then graduated high school, and then we don't connect again till now. So I feel like I have several of those friendships.
Yeah, totally.
I have those too, and I think those are just as meaningful, because that, I think, is a testament of that person just kind of grows with you. Like Jackie says, you don't have to be in their lives every single day or know what you're doing with every weekend, but when you do reconnect, you kind of don't skip a beat. You know your banter, you know your humor, you can give each other shit. It doesn't matter because you guys have that bond already, and
yeah,
help.
For sure. Where is this that you're at, Sam? Is that your home office?
No, it's like our living room. So like you can just like the TV and the dog bed right there and the window.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Are you guys in Claremont?
No, Mira Mesa.
Oh, Mira Mesa. Okay, wow. For some
Mhm.
reason, this whole time I thought you were in Claremont.
My folks are still in Claremont, so my parents are still in the same Claremont house.
Nice, cool.
And it makes me wish my parents, because when they moved out to Arizona, like they sold their house, but then like a year or two after they moved out here, then my grandma lived on Chateau, which is like not too far from Claremont Drive. Um, but then she passed away a couple years later, so they sold her house. And I think at the time it might have been like 6 or 7 years ago, but they sold it for, I think it was like 300 or 400, and now it's worth like close to $800,000. It's crazy, like Claremont, because I've been back there like a couple times in the last few years, but like it's changed a lot. But then I don't know if it's middle Claremont or what, but parts of it just seem like it all turned into like to rental houses, and no one like gives a crap about their like landscaping or anything anymore. So it is weird to like go back and see everything, like the way it's changed. It's kind of, I know it's kind of surreal.
Yeah, man, real estate has just gone absolutely bonkers. And Claremont is like ground zero in San Diego for the bonkersness of real estate out here. It's just crazy.
So Jackie and Marty, what were your biggest shocks for kind of going out into the real world after school?
Balancing a budget and like the how easy it is to be like obviously early 20s, how easy it is to go out and like be in a group, and you have this much money for rent and your bills, but they want to get bottle service or something like that, and you're like, well, I'll just figure it out when it gets to that point.
I can't hear you.
So working through stuff like that, and then I don't know, just I think the growing into different things and like different interests have surprised me. Like the landscaping thing that you just mentioned, I think
Right.
is pretty funny, because I walk out and I see my neighbors who don't take care of their yard, and I'm like, God,
Mm-hmm.
you guys,
You're like, you're bringing the whole,
yeah,
the
you're
whole
fucking the
community
neighborhood up.
down.
Do I have to go talk? Am I gonna have to go talk to this guy?
Get your dog off my lawn. Mow
Yeah,
your grass.
and then I'm like, who am I? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? Who am I turning into? So that kind of stuff has been interesting. I'll also say like my relationship with my wife and how it's always been special, but in the different phases of our relationship, how it's been special in different ways. It's a really interesting thing to see how that's developed, like early on, the passion, to the struggles that we went through, and then to this point now where you just look at that person, you're like, I can't imagine my life without you. Like how that stuff has happened, and when you sit down and think about it, and just kind of how it shocks you if you spend some time thinking about it.
That makes sense. Did we lose Jackie?
No, she's
I'm
here.
here. Can you not see me?
I can see you.
Oh,
I have to drop off my daughter at softball practice, so sorry.
there she
I
is.
feel like my answer is a combination of both of Sam's and Marty's. Like, yeah, definitely the budgeting and the money and being responsible for my own bills and things like that. Definitely. I feel like I didn't get enough training in my youth on like how to balance a checkbook and be responsible with money like that. So definitely. And then also like Sam touched on just, I don't know, like the things that are of importance that you make a big deal about when you're younger, but then when you get older, your perspective changes and you're like, really, I devoted that much stress or sadness or whatever emotion it was to something that really has no bearing over your future.
Right.
So definitely, I'm going to put you guys on a video off for a second. But definitely, especially now with my children, like my daughters are teenagers and preteens, and the things that they stress about, I just remember, and I look back and I'm like, you guys are stressing over this and that didn't matter.
Say that to them because they have to go through that. Like, I can say that, but they don't feel it because to them, this is such a big deal in their world right now.
Is that always frustrating for you, or like, is it easier? Because I've wondered that, like, when we have kids, hopefully eventually soon. Like, and even dealing with like my nieces and nephews, sometimes it's hard to remember that, like, when I was their age, I did the same stupid stuff and not get frustrated with them or like kind of angry at the dumb decisions they make. But then, yeah, it seems like as a parent, it would be hard to like let them be in the stage they're at without like getting upset or trying to make them grow up faster.
Yeah, it's definitely like a balance you have to find. Like, you need to let them experience it, but you hope that you can give them a little bit of advice so they can deal with it in a different manner than they might have on their own.
Yeah. And how old are your kids, Sam?
My daughter's 8 and I have a son that's 7.
Okay.
So I think definitely younger than Jackie's, but I am getting worried about the preteen phase. I mean, she's only 8, but I feel like it's going to just turn a corner and she's going to hit it. And I just remember how I felt preteen and like the angst you go through. So I'm kind of worried about that too, but I would agree with what Jackie says. I mean, sometimes you can tell kids your experience and the advice until you're blue in the face, but they just have to learn on their own. Like, the notion of, oh, let them fall and get hurt so that they know they won't do it again.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
But I also dangle in front of their face, like, one day you're going to understand what I'm talking about. When you get older, you're going to understand what I was saying.
That's a weird feeling because I did that with my parents. Like, one day I finally understood the stuff they were trying to get me to learn, and then like it was a combination of kind of relief to finally like realize it, but then it also kind of pissed me off that they were right. So I was like, it was like, you got me back. It took 20 years, but you finally made your point.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Sam, another one that we like to ask, but I don't know if you're going to have any. If you do, you got to be raw about it. So most embarrassing moment in high school.
What do you have one in mind? Because I can't think of one.
I don't.
If you can't think of an embarrassing moment, maybe like your most exciting moment from high school. We'll take it in the opposite direction. If Sam seemed like she was always like level-headed and just kind of
totally.
like chill. Yeah. She wasn't going around pantsing everyone like Marty was.
I would say I enjoyed speaking at graduation. I was really glad I was able to, even though I don't remember my speech, exactly how it went, but and then this kind of goes back to kind of learning about how you felt when you were younger and realizing maybe it wasn't such a big deal. And you guys wouldn't have known this on the surface, but I am the most competitive person and in any facet of the meeting, I was so competitive, but I didn't really show it, but just internally, I wanted to be the smartest. I wanted to be the prettiest. I wanted to be the funniest. I just wanted just to be that. And it sometimes ate me up inside, and being able to kind of get that spot, I don't know, it just kind of validated and I think I was upset because I hadn't gotten salutatorian. So I knew I wasn't going to get valedictorian, and I thought I would get number 2, but I didn't get that spot. I beat myself up. you know, that competitive nature in me and whatever, but being able to speak, I don't know, just kind of revalidated myself, which is a bit self-involved, I can admit, but that's just kind of how I felt at the time. And being able to just be recognized that I had a good speech and it was worthwhile for them to select me to speak. So that's what I can remember offhand.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I remember being jealous of you being able to do the speech. I just thought it would be cool to like to be up there and have everyone listening.
Yeah, I thought you killed it, Sam. That was a good one.
Do you still feel like you're
Thanks.
competitive now? Or
Yeah.
is
Yes.
that something? Yeah.
Yes.
I understand how you feel because Marty, you've always seemed like you're more like outwardly and open with your competitive nature. But I get what Sam's saying because like if I'm like whether it's like playing games with people or at work or anything, like it's like inside, it's almost like a buzzing that I can feel when like I'm being competitive, but like outside you can't tell that it's like upsetting me or that like I'm getting stressed out about it. But like I'll watch like sporting events. Like when I was into MMA, I'd watch that, and like my insides would be shaking just like from like the competitiveness going on. But like I'm not gonna be like slamming stuff down and like rooting for teams. I don't know about sports. Are they teams? Yeah, they're teams. I don't know about. But yeah, so I get what you're saying because it drives me nuts, but it's like an internal kind of stress.
Hey, Sam, who was your best friend in high school? Or did you have a close friend? Did you have like a crew?
So I don't know if you guys remember Michelle
Yes,
Abweg,
there you go. Okay.
because we went to elementary together. So when I moved to Claremont, I think I was in 4th grade, and we went to Sequoia and we went to Croc, and she went to Madison, but then she moved, I want to say at the end of sophomore year. So she didn't graduate with us because she had to move to New York. But her and I were kind of, we were pretty thick. And I'd say like after she left, I don't know, I kind of just floated around with most of, I guess you'd say like the Asian group.
I was gonna let's say Asian club.
Yeah.
So those are like
Yeah.
Jenna and like I remember you hang out with like Jenna and Fee and like
Yeah.
Brian and all of them.
Yeah. Gina, Fee, Chris Among. I mean, Thomas was still there, Mike's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Michael Head.
Yeah. Michael Head. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, then so that crew was like Michael Head, because I had classes with him, and like Dennis Lee, Daniel Hoffman, Tristan Sorenzi, like that was kind of the other quote unquote group, like Van, Vicky. So it was like, I guess a floater, so to speak. And then ASB was my senior year. So I'd say me and Marty were thick as thieves senior year.
Yeah, we were close. How did that happen? Like I was trying to think about it the other day and I was like, how did Sam and I get so close? I don't know if we had classes together. We just started talking in ASB and then we became good friends.
Yeah, I think maybe senior year because I don't think I had any classes with you until maybe senior year, and then ASB.
Yeah.
So
I can't remember how that got started, but yeah, we were roll dogs.
we worked. Where was that store? We worked
Called House to Home.
Yeah, House to Home.
Yeah.
It's Walmart now, or it's been Walmart for quite some time. The
Yeah.
one in Claremont.
Is that like Home Goods?
Yeah, or like a Bed Bath.
Okay.
Kind of like that. I remember going
like
in, we interviewed at the same day, same time-ish, right? And we walked out and we had been hired. And I remember I was stoked. I think I was getting paid like $8.25 an hour. And I was like, oh yeah, I nailed it. And Sam came out and was like, yeah, they hired me on the spot. They're paying me $8.75. And I was like, what? I was like, how the hell did you do that? So I guess you interviewed a lot better than I did. One of those.
Those are my favorite stories.
Yeah, that was a good one. I was always I was super supportive of you, Sam, but I was kind of like, how the what just happened, kind of a thing. That internal competitiveness that I guess that I deal with as well.
I think Marty's competitiveness is also outworldly. It's not all internal. We all know that you're competitive.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Not in a healthy
Yeah,
way.
because it's not like I was, I played sports or anything in high school. So, it's kind of different, I think, when you're an athlete and you kind of have to obviously be competitive for whatever sport you're in. So yeah, I think my competitive nature is just, it manifested a lot differently.
You're not going to be tackling anyone in calculus when we got a higher test score.
No, I know. Throwing bones with someone that like they scored better than me. Like,
Hey, Sam, what's your, if you had to do a quick scan of your memory, what would be your favorite memory with Matt and ASB?
I don't know if I have a distinct one, but just what I remember is just our seats in Mr. Osa's class was kind of like by the window. And I think he was maybe like kitty corner me. And I don't know. I just feel like we just always had this banter, like this dry sense of humor and like back and forth. And that's just what I remember the most. That's like my fondest of Matt. Just, I don't know, finding someone kind of with that same sense of humor and level of
Were you in
banter. Yeah.
Were you in that? Were you in the calculus class where they had that like older white dude that came over from Mesa to teach it
Yeah.
in senior
With the
year?
ponytail. It
Did
was
you
like
ever
a
meet-
Mesa professor. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I was. Yeah.
But that was with like Van and Daniel and Dennis, right?
Yeah, they
I
were
think
here too.
I think my favorite was like because he took us all to a Vietnamese restaurant, and that was like the first time I had pho. But like no one, like you all refused to tell me what was in pho, so like I got the he just like ordered me the one that has like everything in it. So there was like tripe and there was like tendon and all sorts of stuff in it. So you guys were just sitting there watching me like take bites of stuff with a look on my face, trying to figure out what it was I just put in my mouth.
That's the good stuff, man.
It is. I like it now, but back
Is
then
there,
it was weirding me out.
is there good Vietnamese out where you're at, Matt?
Yeah, surprisingly, like in Chandler, it feels kind of like it did in San Diego, where like there's almost like boundaries of where certain ethnicities like populate and then like their businesses and stuff are. So there's definitely places like that. They spread out like further into like random places and suburbs, but like around where I work, there's like a denser population of Vietnamese and Asian people, and they have like actual like legitimate Vietnamese restaurants and like Asian markets and stuff like that. So, but I haven't been out that way since like 2019 after I started working from home and stuff. So
Jackie, are you in San Diego?
I'm in Murrieta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
whoa,
so not too
you're
far,
back
like
at
45 minutes.
Jackie's back in her house. Oh, stealth. Like
No,
shocked
that
me
was
to see us.
that was a quick drive though.
Yeah.
Like,
Just disappeared.
No, her high school is literally like a mile away, but it's hot and I didn't want her to have to carry all her gear. So literally pull into the parking lot, drop her off and come back.
Nice. I remember a funny memory that I have about ASB and you, Sam. There's a bunch actually, but this is a good one. This is a very like good Sam and Marty relationship memory. It was right after Stephanie Jenkins, it was announced that she was leaving. And so she was our class president. And that meant that I was going to have to be the class president after she left. And we sat along the window and we sat in like order. So it was like Stephanie, then me because I was vice president. And then you were right behind me, I think, because what were you, treasurer?
yes, or secretary, one of those.
Yeah, one of those. And you were right behind me. And Mr. Rose like was, at his like podium type of thing. and he was explaining it to me, and I was looking up at him, and I remember I looked down, and then I looked back at you, and you were like, and I remember like looking at the look on your face, and I could tell you were like trying to your best to not like show any emotion, but I just felt like in that moment, looking at you, you were like, oh shit, Marty's in over his head, and I was. So
I don't remember that. Oh, that's funny.
one of those quick moments, and then I tried to like compose myself and be like, oh yeah, it's cool, no problem, I'll handle this.
You were just like the president, like of the country. You rely on like your cabinet and a bunch of other people to fill you in on important information and what decisions need to be made.
Yeah, what a
You just
year.
had to look you had to look confident in front of everyone.
Yeah, just try to be a figurehead. That was some funny stuff.
Speaking of treasure, didn't we like put aside money for a future reunion somewhere? Is Sam like sitting on a bank account that we started that we don't know of?
No, see, so that's why I know I'm not the treasurer, because I have no idea how much money our class has.
Maybe
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I thought we had like any money that we had raised that we didn't spend was supposed to be like set aside for. I thought that's how it works. So either I'm wrong or someone has an account somewhere that they've either spent or are waiting for us to remember about.
I think it's Gina, and I'll check with her, but she hasn't said anything to me about that. But maybe she doesn't know. So
Oh, sorry, I called her Jenna. It's Gina.
yeah,
Apologize.
no.
Apologize, Gina, if you're listening. Well,
She's,
who was? I thought Sheena was president. Was Sheena not? What
she
was?
was ASB president. She
So
was
it's
president
ASB.
of everything, the whole
Oh,
organization. Yeah,
okay.
And you were just for our class?
yeah,
Mhm.
Got it.
yeah,
All right. All
I
right.
thought the same thing, Matt.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to anything ever. Like, I just wanted to play guitar.
Yeah. So Sam, you have a gym in your garage, and I see your Instagram. You're doing some deadlifting and some like you have like a whole rogue setup, which I'm very jealous of. What's your deadlift PR now?
So that one was just the 1 rep. So I don't know. I think it was like 210.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good amount
I
of
don't.
weight.
And then there's PRs for, like a 3 rep or 4 or 5 rep. I don't really remember how much for each of those. I don't know. Probably 5 rep might be like 195.
Wow.
But the app that I use the most, that they would, for at least deadlifts and squats, the most they have us do is 5 reps.
So what app do you use? Does it give you, so is this an app that tracks it, or is it an app that gives you like an actual workout to do?
Both. It's
Oh.
called Kilo.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to
So
check
yeah,
that out.
it tells you, it can set you up with like workouts of the day, and then you type in what weights you're able to do for that workout, and then it'll track it like the day that you logged it in, so that it'll know what your PRs were if you were to like exceed one or reach one day.
Is it mostly free weights, or does it have like machines and stuff that you can track too?
Not machines. It's mostly, it'll be like barbells, dumbbells. You can, so other equipment they have is wall balls, ropes, the TRX, like you could do like TRX moves. So a number of, like, if you have the equipment, you can select that you have, a barbell, or if you have dumbbells, you could put that you have dumbbells. And if you have like a rope or TRX or a sled, you can just select it, and so that they'll configure like what workouts that they have, and then they can put that on the app for you.
So with not liking, or maybe not liking, but with not playing sports in high school and stuff, did you like get into lifting like while you're in college or outside of, or like what kind of prompted you to, like, from not playing sports to liking lifting?
I really just started, I don't know, maybe like 2 years ago. So before I did a lot of running, like I did a bunch of half marathons. I'd say like 10 years ago when I was trying to lose weight for getting married, did a bunch of runs. So that was kind of my thing for quite some time, was just doing a bunch of half marathons and trying to, beat your time and things like that. And then stopped doing that, obviously, when got pregnant, took a break. I think I only did maybe 1 or 2 more half marathons after having kids. And then I got injured with my ankle and it just kind of wasn't the same long distance running since then. So just, trying to like get back into fitness and getting back to like pre-baby weight, things like that. You try different stuff. And so Mike was actually telling me, like, you just need to start lifting heavy. That's the only way you can try to lose fat, things like that, get stronger. So he started showing me doing stuff at the gym, like lifting heavy. And then obviously when COVID hit, and like that was like one of the first things he was on top of, was getting that stuff in the garage, because he's like, who
So
knows when we're gonna get back.
You bought it before the price gouging and the like scarcity of all the equipment then?
I think so. It's like got it right in the nick of time.
Yeah, because when the gym shut down, I was like trying to find like free weights and dumbbells and stuff. And they had people on Facebook Marketplace selling like 30-pound dumbbells for like $120 a pair. Like ridiculous amounts for like not even that much weight. And like plates were almost impossible to find people selling.
Yeah, and stuff took a while, obviously, to like get to us. So it just, things came piecemeal, but like there was this set of plates and weights that I think took forever to get to us, but eventually we got it. So
You got the nice stuff too. You got the kilo weights, the colored weights.
mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you do
like
it like legit with kilograms. You don't mess with pounds. Or,
well, no, I count them by pounds. I'm not that smart.
I was like, it's 2 point something, I think.
Yeah.
It's the conversion.
How about you, Matt? When did you start getting into lifting?
I started like, I think junior year, because I was trying to lose weight. Because I'd kind of realized that not being able to get a girlfriend was probably partially due to how heavy I was. And because like 9th grade and 10th grade, I was super chunky. But yeah, so I started in 11th grade. And then like off and on like since then, but it wasn't till I think fall of 2019 that I like got back into it and actually stuck with it. I think it's mostly because I realized that like being this close to 40, if I didn't start making some like concerted effort to get healthier and change, like to lose weight, not only would I not be able to like keep up with kids when we have them, but like I don't have a stellar history in my family. Like I have a lot of heart disease and heart attacks and things like that. So it's like if I'm gonna have any sort of like healthy, enjoyable life when I'm in my 50s, 60s, and 70s, like I'm gonna have to start getting healthier now and smarter about it. So, but I mean, there's other benefits. Like I'd be lying if there wasn't like part of it that's vanity, but it's also helped with my mental health because I struggled with that for a while. So I kind of go there just to de-stress and like get my excess energy and anger and that sort of stuff out.
Funny thing about working out is I can have such crazy internal dialogue about getting myself to go do it. And then afterwards, I'm like, why was that so hard? I feel so great. I'm so glad that I did that. But every time I'm like, man, I'd really like to go to In-N-Out and just, eat a burger and drink a chocolate shake and just watch some YouTube videos instead of going in the garage and lifting weights.
I found like like Jackie was talking a while about, like she was doing the miracle morning thing that I want to start trying. But I found that like just even with lifting, but just more specifically in general with with life, like having like a routine and kind of things you look forward to about the routine. Like I get you, like a lot of times it's harder for me to like want to go to the gym, but like once I'm there, I have a good time and I feel better afterwards. But like I spend a lot of money on like 4 or 5 different supplements that I take like in a pre-workout before I go.
Ooh.
So that's like a like my treat, and I only have it when I work out. So like I get pumped up because I like when I get that like energy and that good feeling. So I'm like, oh, if I go work out, then I get to take that. So it's kind of like extra motivation. But
What's the Miracle Morning?
So it's
Jackie,
a
do you
book.
wanna?
Yeah, it's a book. It's by Hal Elrod, I believe. And you don't really even need the book. I'm sure you could just Google like what is the Miracle Morning. But the book's only like $14 on Amazon. And it's right here. It's basically how to transform your day and your life before 8 a.m. in the morning. So it is to teach you how to do a routine that he has called lifesavers, and that's like a mnemonic device for what everything is. Let me pull it up. It's so natural to me to just do it now that I don't even remember like how he breaks it down anymore. Lifesavers, page 51. So S is for silence. So basically you do some sort of like, I do meditation, or you can pray, or whatever it is that you prefer, reflection, deep breathing, whatever it is, meditation. And then after that, you do affirmations. And then you do visualization. So I have a visualization board, like a manifestation board that I go stand up to every day, and I look at all my pictures and I go through each one and just like call it out to manifest the things that I want in my life. And then exercise, these for exercise. And then R is for reading. So for me personally, I'll do like a devotional reading. Some people will just read whatever book. And then S is for scribing or writing. So like a journaling type of thing. So it's just this routine that you do every day of these 6 areas, and it completely transforms your mindset for the day and gets you in a good headspace to just have a better life. And I started it actually when quarantine started, and now it's just second nature to me. Like you wake up, everything is only supposed to take 10 minutes. So you wake up an hour before you're supposed to normally start your day, and you do these things, and then you move on with your day. So I still, even though I don't have to commute anymore right now, I still wake up an hour before I need to, and I just go through all of these things, and it just allows me to, if I didn't sleep so well, to just have a better mindset when I do eventually start my day at work or whatever it is with the kids.
Do you ever miss like days, or like I guess have you missed like days in a row? Find it's harder like get back to it, or?
So when I first did it, I made sure to do it every single day, even on the weekends. But now I don't do the weekends. So on the weekend, I won't get up and like an hour before I need to. Like I give myself that time, but I make sure that once Monday hits, so Monday through Friday, I'm 100% committed to it.
That's cool. That's hard. I find that's like my biggest struggle, like not just with like exercising, but I'm super bad at getting routines and staying with routines, like for anything. So I think that's my big struggle right now in life, is trying to find things that I can, like habits, like establishing good habits, that because I found if I'm trying to eat healthy, like I can eat healthy like all week, and then like if I have like a bad weekend, then it's like the next week following that. I'm just like, screw it, I messed up this weekend, I might as well just eat whatever I want. Or like if I'm not doing, like giving myself time to, like, I don't do the miracle morning, but times where I try to be more like introspective or reflective on things, like I'll get in a good period for like a week or two where I'm consistent with that kind of stuff and like checking in with myself and my emotions and mental health and all that. But then like there'll be a week that's tough at work, like me missing the podcast with you guys. Like ever since then, like I just have been like totally off my game, like in all areas of life. So I need to check that book out and try to start that, because I
You
basically
want me to be your accountability partner? I will text you in the morning.
okay, but
I believe you will too.
yeah. No, that would be good. Yeah, because I basically like get out of bed, grab an energy drink, and sit down and start working all within like 5 minutes. And like that's just kind of a miserable, like I do it like every single day over and over and over again. And like every morning I'm like, this sucks. And then like the next morning I'm like, this sucks. The next, just on and on and on for like years at a time. So just being like, hey, maybe if I did something different, it wouldn't suck so much. But yeah, I'll is there a benefit to getting a physical copy of the book over like a Kindle version, do you think, or no?
I don't think there is. The book is more like, he has to tell you his story and why he developed this, but it does go over each like area a little bit more in depth. So like I said, I'm sure you could even just look it up online and find the breakdown for
Okay.
the savers,
But there's not like worksheets or anything that like make the, okay.
mm-mm.
Hey,
So what
Sam,
time do you wake up, Matt? Because I get up at 6 a.m. to do this every Monday through Friday.
I get up anywhere between 6 and 7:45, depending on how many times I hit the snooze button or how many meetings I have prior to that. So yeah, I need to start, like, I think ideally it would be 6, because you said you need an hour, right?
Mhm.
So since I work with people on the East Coast, they like to plan meetings at 7 a.m. So I usually have to be at my desk by 7 a.m. and like ready to focus. Which means I probably would have to wake up before 6, huh? If I need the full hour.
I sit at my desk in my pajamas, so I start work at 7 too. So it really is just up to you. Like I literally get up at 6. And that's the other thing. The first thing it tells you to do is the second you get out of bed, you have to go brush your teeth. Because brushing your teeth actually will stimulate your brain to wake you up. So you get out of bed and you go brush your teeth.
I'll brush my teeth with my energy drink. Just dip the brush in the energy drink. Yeah, so I guess text me.
And also don't keep your alarm next to your bed. You have to put your alarm across the room to force you to get up and turn it off so you don't hit snooze.
Right now, my wife's my alarm. So she sets her alarm and then she forces me to get out of bed. But yeah, if you text at 6, that'd be good.
Okay.
You'll be my morning routine accountability partner, and then I have accountability partner for other stuff. So that works.
hey, Jacqueline, while you're at it, throw me on
Sounds
that
good.
text list.
Will do.
Put me on there. I need all the positive reinforcement I can get. So Sam,
Will do.
we're getting close to wrapping up here. So I want to give people a reason to tune in and watch for the whole episode. We got to get into some juicy stuff with you. Like, so give us, can you think of what was like the craziest drama that you experienced or witnessed while in high school?
Gosh,
It's-
I'm probably the worst
it's been
person
20
for these
years.
types of questions. What's that?
It's been 20 years, so don't hold back.
I know, I just can't, nothing's coming up in my memory right now.
What annoys you the most about Marty? Like what in high school annoyed you about Marty?
That's a good one. There's probably a lot.
No, nothing annoyed me about
No,
Marty.
I can see it in your face, Sam. You're holding back. Don't hold back.
I don't know, sometimes you're a bit cocky, I guess. I don't know. It's like the first thing that came to mind.
Of course. Of course.
A second.
I think the tagline then for this podcast is going to be Sam deep dives into how Marty's arrogance affected her senior year of high school.
That's a good one. That's a good one. What about you guys? What was like the biggest drama that you guys had to deal with, or the stress of it that you remember?
How much time we got? Like, there's a lot of drama. I think we might need to save that for another day.
Sounds like Jackie might need a afternoon miracle after this podcast.
We haven't had a podcast in like 3 weeks. I have no one to talk to.
Yeah.
Oh, I know one. So I think the biggest thing that happened that I remember, do you remember Coach Ferrara? I
Yeah.
think his name was. So yeah, because I think that was when I was in PE in 9th or 10th grade. So I had him as a PE teacher, and like at the time he was like teaching the boys class like wrestling and stuff.
Hey, Matt, just an FYI, he married Miss Andrews.
No, his
Like-
brother did.
Are you sure?
Yeah, didn't Coach get arrested?
Yeah,
Miss
that was the
Andrews
drama.
married his brother.
That was the
Really?
juicy drama I was
Yeah.
about to get to.
Were they twins? Because they look so much alike in the pictures. Okay. I just wanted to make
But
sure.
anyway, yeah, but I was just gonna say that I had like I had gotten to so he was like teaching us wrestling and stuff, and I was driving to Fresno to see my sister, and like the first thing she says is like, oh, Coach Ferrara was on the news, like he got arrested for he was doing inappropriate stuff with minors. But I don't know, that was like one of the biggest shocking things for me because I wasn't in
See, I
tune with-
didn't even know that.
Yeah.
yeah, so that was
Yeah. Not that, I mean, so Madison coming into our freshman year, the year before had gone to the semifinals CIF for football. So we had like this football program that was like attracting kids from other parts of the city because of Coach Ferrara. So there's people like Drew Smith who were at Madison, Lewis Fritzenkotter, who was at Madison, even Clister was, I think, in the district to go to Claremont, or in the district to go to Claremont instead of Madison, but they all wanted to come to Madison to play for our program because it got more exposure than, Claremont, obviously. Ferrara got taken down. That was a big hit for me because like we all looked at him like, we were going to get college scholarships because we played for Ferrara. A bunch of guys left. A bunch of really like talented guys left Madison to go to other high schools because the program fell apart. So yeah, there was like a whole bunch of stuff. For me, it was actually the drug bust our freshman year. Do you guys remember that?
I was
No.
gonna say the undercover cop. She was in my PE class.
I remember that now.
I don't remember her. Like I remember
She came in the middle of the year. Yeah, she
Right.
looked different than everyone else. Like she definitely looked different, but her story was that she came from LA. She had to come live with a different family member because she had gotten in trouble in LA. And so now she was down here and she was just trying to make it pretty much. And that was her story.
You're like, man, that new girl wears a lot of foundation and concealer.
Well, I just feel like her style, I think that's what it was. Her style wasn't necessarily what we were all wearing. Like she had that bleached out hair and that wasn't the look then. Like, like it was just a different, like she wore pink lipstick and it was just different.
Like, hey kids, fellow kids, do
Smoking
you
a
guys happen to
cigarette.
know where I could find marijuana cigarettes around here?
Do you guys remember anybody who got arrested? No, I don't remember anybody who it was either.
Wasn't it like 19
Mm-mm.
kids or something though?
I have no idea. I wouldn't even want to guess at it because I can't remember. I just remember that it was all over the news, and like my friends that were in different parts of the city going to different schools were like, "Is Madison ghetto?" And I was like, "It's not." But
Was
I
it?
tell people all the time. I consider it ghetto.
oh,
I
really?
tell people all the time my high school was ghetto. We had a drug bust and our football coach got arrested for touching minors. Our
Yeah,
school
we-
was ghetto.
It probably wasn't like Southeast San Diego ghetto, but was it like legitimate drugs or was it
I don't know.
like weed and stuff?
I have no idea, but I know I just look at my niece and nephew now. One's a freshman, one's a junior, and I'm like, they wouldn't even like know where to start, or like how to organize or anything like that. What a waste of like taxpayer dollars to do something like that. Unless we were different. I don't know.
I feel like that was like the biggest lie of Dare and like starting in 6th grade when they started giving us all those drug talks. Like all I remember is like, hey kids, you got to watch out for strangers that try to give you stuff because it could be laced with drugs. And then like you get older and like no person in their right mind is going to be wasting like expensive drugs like just to give it to kids and candy.
Matt, did you ever
Like they
smoke
just
weed?
No, not until like my freshman year of college, maybe that summer.
And how
I
much
don't
was it? Just something you tried, or did you actually do it regularly?
it was something I tried because I was still like super like a super like conservative Christian.
Yeah.
So it was like, hey, should we I have this like joint. Should we go to the grocery store and get like bags of chips and like go to the bleachers one night and smoke this joint? It was like, ooh, do we? Shall we? So it was like that. But then like I remember because the first time I did it, I was trying to like I'd never smoked before, so I was like, oh, I feel a little bit weird. Like I'll hop in the car and like drive home. And the person I was with all of a sudden was like, hey, do you know where you're going? Because I was like driving and just kind of like looking around, and I was like, I have no idea where I'm at right now. And they're like, pull the car over now. But yeah, in LA, I got my card, so I had more experience with it then. But
Jacqueline, I know you never did. Not in high
I've
school.
I've never touched a drug in my life. When you are a daughter of an addict, you end up one of two ways.
Yeah.
Just like them or complete opposite. So my mom was on drugs the first 10 years of my life. So I've never touched a drug in my life because I've been there,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And Sam, I can't imagine you did.
So my experience was not on purpose. I had one of those laced brownies right before going to like Magic Mountain or Disneyland with our group of friends it was after high school. Yeah, that was an interesting experience. Digesting it is a little bit different.
It's
I
so
think.
much more intense.
Yeah. I've never actually, I was at a dinner with some coworkers and one of the partners was talking about cigars that he bought, and other people just started asking like, what's the appeal of smoking cigars? And she was just honestly asking, does it smell good? Does it make you feel good? And he was just trying to answer, and her and I were saying like, yeah, I've never tried actually like smoking something because I feel like I would start coughing up and I wouldn't even know what to do with my breathing and my lungs or whatever. But so yeah, I've never even tried that. But that's I
It's
don't
like
know.
people that get really into wines. Like I don't understand that kind of stuff because like I've had different types of wine, but like whenever I drink it, it just tastes like wine to me. It's like they're like, oh, taste this wine. It's really expensive wine, and I'm like, oh, this is a little more bitter than the $3 wine I had. Like I don't understand like the nuances all stuff, and like cigar smokers, I guess there's like like they puff on it and it's supposed to taste a certain way, but like you're saying,
Yeah,
they
no.
all just taste like cigars to me. I'd rather just have a black and mild.
Jeez, Matt, you're ghetto, dude.
I went to Madison.
Yeah, true. You're one of the ones that got away from the drug bust. For alcohol, for me, what I've noticed is I don't have like a sophisticated palate in terms of the taste, but good alcohol means I'm not hungover the next day. So, you know, like I won't notice it while it's going down, but I'll notice it if I'm drinking crappy beer, like even 3 or 4 beers will F me up for 3 days now. I'm so like
I
it's
thought that was just being in our late 30s that did that.
that's it. Yeah. Like even like Coors Light. But if I drink like not like take beer out of the equation, but if I drink good wine or good whiskey, I'll wake up the next day and I'm like, I'm okay. Like I can go, like I'll go detail my car or something like that. So that's what I noticed. But I smoked a lot of weed in junior high and high school and college. But something weird happened in college, especially or after graduation. I smoked a lot. Like me, Fee, Moto, we all like we were staying in Moto's house and we were all smoking a lot. And then I took the job, moved to Florida, and I stopped smoking for 9 months. And then when I finally found like a connection for it in Florida, I smoked once, had a terrible panic attack, was like, oh, that was weird. What's going on with this? Tried to smoke again a few more times over the years, kept having like weird anxiety panic attacks, and I just had to stop, couldn't smoke anymore. So I haven't smoked for like 12 years. I mean, I have like, I've been around it and I've tried it here and there, but each time is the same. So I just kind of got forced to stop. It's kind of a weird thing because
with your new job, can we post this podcast where it's publicly viewable on YouTube?
yeah,
Okay, just making sure.
totally. It's totally fine. We live in California, man. It's legal here. So what are they gonna do?
It's like Martin Herrick, CFO, is taken down after
Yeah.
revealing YouTube video was posted this month.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. I think
So that's a good tagline too. So it's
We need the clickbait.
we do.
yeah.
I know.
So Sam reveals what annoys her most about Marty, and the how you word it, I guess, and we talk about our favorite drugs over the last 20 years.
They're going to be so disappointed with that tagline.
Well, your drug is competition and chasing PRs. And Jackie's drug is a daily routine. So there you go. If you've listened to us this long, there's the answer to our to our clickbait.
That's how we come up with it.
Yes.
The process.
So Sam, before we go, you do have to nominate. Who would you like to see on one of these in the future?
Oh, who haven't we heard from? How about, I can think of a few. So I see Mark Decker occasionally on Facebook. I don't know what he's been up to. He was our
Yeah,
VP.
he'd be fun to have on. He was always lively.
Yeah, I think he was a drama guy too, so he's probably very entertaining.
I always thought he was like a news anchor or broadcaster with that voice.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so jealous of Mark's voice. So deep.
Well, we have a news anchor in our class, Teresa.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 I wonder if we could actually have her on.
She might be too big shot for us. I don't know, but we can. You guys can try.
Yeah, we got to try.
Yeah. So I think those are. If I think of more, I'll let you know, or I'll tag them.
Has anyone tried to get a hold of Brian Wynn?
Not directly, but I can text him. The Facebook tagging hasn't been working. On a lot of people, it hasn't been working.
Really?
Yeah.
Like in the post on the group or what?
Yeah, it just doesn't.
Yeah, for like people who have been nominated by previous guests.
Oh,
Marty's
I
tagged
wonder.
them and they haven't
Maybe if
responded.
I wonder if their accounts are private if it doesn't like go through.
Well,
I don't know.
I think if you're friends, if you're Facebook friends with them, it should work. Like I know that's how it worked when Marty did that tag for me.
And we
But
can always just message him directly too.
Yep.
who was on would you guys do this last week? I don't know if I saw the post for last week or the week before.
We had Nelly
The
and Aaron
last-
Acosta.
yeah.
Nelly Riddle and Aaron Acosta.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't get to watch that one. I think I've only watched the one with Fee so far.
The last 3 weeks, and we were on a routine of doing them every week, but then it got thrown off. Marty left us, went on vacation, so we didn't do one that week, and then our schedules just didn't coordinate. So we've been off a little bit.
But we'll get it rolling.
Are you guys picking back up like reunion locations or planning yet?
So, yeah, for some reason, I always forget to talk about that on these, and that's like the whole point. What we've landed on right now is that we want to do late summer, like a bonfire or something like that, just because we're still dealing with like the trickle down effects of COVID-19, and then actually do the real reunion next year. So a postponed thing, something where we kind of get together this year, and then like the real McCoy next year is what we landed on.
Nice, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think bonfire would be good. Outdoors, people can feel safe.
Did you go to a bunch of bonfires?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, quite a bit.
Of course you did.
Oh, it's these bonfires that I keep hearing a lot about 20 years later.
Yeah.
Must have been nice, guys. Must have been nice.
I never went to any either.
That's kind of a snob.
Cool. Okay, then, Sam, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll keep you in the loop. Get this downloaded, sent over to Matt for post-production, and uploaded. And if there's anybody else who is like a part of the crew, ASB or anything like that, we'll see if you want to jump on another episode with us to reminisce.
Yeah, it sounds good. I had fun catching up with you guys.
That was cool. It's cool seeing you.
You look
Nice to
exactly the
see
same,
you.
Sam. Damn it.
Yeah, Sam, you've aged amazingly.
Your face is the same, just your hair is different. I was used to it just being straight.
Yeah, it used to be straight and long, and now
Yeah.
I guess that's good. Thanks.
Good for you. Cool. All right, then, guys.
All right.
Thanks for
Have a
that
good
episode.
week.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Later.
guys.
Bye.